Good morning. We're live. All right. We're talking about like reclaiming things for ourselves as Black women. And today we're going to talk about decolonizing our spiritual practices or our faith or our, yeah, things. If you don't want to watch this video, I promise you, you don't have to watch this video. Okay. If this is not a conversation for you, it's okay. You can keep on scrolling, find something else to watch today. But if this is a conversation for you, then welcome. We're gonna chit chat. My name is Stephanie. This is my YouTube channel, Stephanie Perry. I'm a house sitter, creator of House Sitter School, co-creator of Exodus Summit. I help Black women take career breaks and sabbaticals and move abroad. Please subscribe. Thank you. Okay. And this conversation today is with my friend, the one and only Mocha Moizelle. Hello, Mocha Moizelle.
Hello, good morning. Hey, how
Good
y'all
morning.
doing? Nice seeing y'all again.
So glad you're here. How are you?
I'm doing lovely. I'm excited. If you can't
Good.
tell.
I can tell. I can tell. We're gonna have a good time. We always have a good time when we talk. So we're gonna have a good time. My light just fell down, but I'm gonna be in a little bit of a dark shadow. That's okay. You shine enough for us.
Mhm.
All right. So introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, where you are, all of those things.
So I'm Mocha Moizelle. Where I am, I'm in Jamaica. I'm from Mississippi. I've been in Jamaica for over 4 years now. I have was called out here for a reason, basically, if I can put it like that. One of those reasons being some of the things in this conversation I want to share with y'all. But I am someone who uh, loves understanding the pre-colonial and pre-patriarchal understandings of ourselves, and as Black women, that's what I am into. So yeah, that's me. That's what I got going on.
Welcome. So your so this is a channel about moving abroad sometimes. So we're not going to talk too much about moving abroad, but I do want to talk a little bit more about your move abroad. How long have you been in Jamaica, and how is it? How is life in Jamaica compared to like where you've lived? You've lived in Mississippi, but you've lived in, I think, New York and Atlanta.
I was
How
all over the place. I was everywhere.
how is it?
um, Jam- so I've been here for over 4 years now. Um, it is so when I got here, like I just kind of knew I was like, oh, like I didn't have like I know a lot of us we hop around and we bop around like to different countries and try and get a feel or we travel, but I was like, oh, I was just here, like I was set. It was Jamaica has been so liberating for me. It's been so freeing for me. Um, I've got to just really understand myself on such a more deeper level than I was back in the States. I got to connect with myself on a much higher level than I was back in the States. So Jamaica for me is just it's just it was just home for me when I came. So hopefully that helps people understand. But it's been freeing and relaxing, and I had the time to rest. I had the time to decolonize. Even though I was, most of us are already on that trajectory, but like I really got to decolonize, like energetically, like with my body and my functionality. I just got to experience. I got to be. I got to exist.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
what Jamaica did for me.
Is that why you went to Jamaica?
That's
Or
not why I went. I went so when this is when we'll start getting to more of the spiritual stuff. So when I was dragged out here, not necessarily dragged, but things lined up for me in that way, in that capacity. So when Corona hit, I was earning money online. I was teaching English online. That was my saving grace, right? It was something that kind of just, it was set up for me. So I would have some income when I left.
yeah.
Um, and so when Corona hit and everything was shut down, I was like, this is the perfect time for me to get my ass up out of here. So I started trying to find places. Um, for me, the criteria was I wanted to be in a predominantly black country, like, and I wanted it to be English speaking. I did think about Mexico, thought about going to Africa, but I was like, Africa's way far, it's expensive. I got a little money coming in, but they ain't buy plane tickets to Africa money. So I was like, I've been to Jamaica before when I was like in grad school with some classmates. So I was like, let me check that out. And so that's how I decided on Jamaica. Yeah.
So it wasn't a dude. It was not a Jamaican man who pulled you out to Jamaica.
No.
Oh. I think that's a valid question because that's a valid question. Mocha Moizelle was on Rashida's channel a while ago, and they talked a little bit more about dating and some other things. So maybe I'll link to that in the description. Let me do that. I'll link to that in the description of this video if you're interested in that conversation. But it wasn't a man. Okay. Also, look at me acting like I'm brand new. Hello. Hello, KB. Hello, Mari. Hey, Bright Equity. That's Reba. Hey, Dominique. Hey, Celeste. Hey, Miss Blue Box and Jay Olienka. How's everybody? Say hello. Say good morning. It's evening for me. I'm in Vietnam. It's 10:07 p.m. for me. It's morning time for most of y'all. So say hey, okay? And while I get my stuff situated here. Okay. So you went to Jamaica just because everything was shut down and you could, and you had a little dough and you had a little online income. And so you went to Jamaica just because you could. So
Mm-hmm.
how did this new, so you've described yourself as having a spiritual awakening. Does Jamaica play a role in that, or would this have been anywhere? Would this have happened anywhere?
It wouldn't have happened anywhere else. So when I got here, so precursor. So before I left, I want to say, let's go back a few years. I started trying to basically, I was married in like 2015. That lasted about 2 years. And then during that period, I started to just have this inkling to learn more about um, other concepts of spirituality outside of what I grew up with in the Mississippi Bible Belt.
Uh-huh.
So I started learning about African traditional spiritualities, but I was like, let me crawl before I run. I felt like that was like way, not that I was outside of it, but I was like, I was trying to learn, but I still wasn't fully connecting as yet. So I was like, let me start with my ancestors. So that's when I started um, learning more about ancestral veneration. Again, this was before Corona and COVID, before I moved to Jamaica. So I had already started understanding that process, right?
Yeah.
So when I came to Jamaica, I want to say probably like a year in, I was like, oh, something's going on. Like I just started having like all these spiritual experiences where um stuff would just start. So for example, one time I was maybe like looking at something on my phone, and then I went and walked down the street. I saw it in the physical. I would have like a lot of those experiences a lot without be thinking something, and then somebody would verbally say what I was thinking in my head. It just like little things started to happen, and like synchronicities and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, like this wasn't just me. This wasn't my doing. Like it's like
Mhm.
something else is going on. And that's when I started like coming into that awareness. So when I started with ancestral venerations, I was starting to get like little dreams and stuff here and there, but nothing I ever understood. I just thought, oh, it was just a dream.
Mhm.
But like then I was like, oh, like I done did something.
So
That happened, like, and so I wasn't, for me, it was moving out on a whim, but it was actually a calling to do so that I interpreted to be just wanting to get up and move.
okay. Yeah, sometimes things are like that, right? It's there is a big picture plan that we don't know, because if we knew the plan, we wouldn't do it. So we just get a little piece, a little piece at a time, one clue at a time.
Yeah.
So you said that you were like looking into African spirituality, and you said that was a little intimidating. And
Yeah.
so you were focusing on ancestral veneration.
Mhm.
Tell us what that is.
Ancestral veneration is basically where you start connecting with your ancestors beyond the physical. Veneration is basically like you start. Okay, so I'll try to be careful with my words. So veneration is where you are basically lifting them up and you are, speaking, goodness and life and things into your ancestors. So for me, for example, I would, ask for, anything, any traumatic experiences that they experienced here, in America, in the US, or wherever they are, that they be lifted from that they, all those burdens and all this other stuff, things like that. Um, would be removed from their energy, basically their spirits. And so actually what's happening is that when you start to do that, you actually start to do it for yourself unknowingly. And then you start to learn how to connect with nature. Most people, when they start with the ancestors, they also incorporate some elements of nature. So I started with like maybe like a little altar, and it was just water, earth, the elements, air, fire, we know those things, right? And I would just start and I would speak into that. And again, it's like I'm just doing stuff. Like
Yeah.
you don't know, like nobody came to like show themselves to me or nothing like that. It's just like you just start this process of basically healing your ancestral lineage,
Oh,
right? Um, so that's how, again, it started. And I was just doing that. I would go to, we have a family graveyard. I would go and, just, speak love and all this stuff to them. And I would do that, right? I would go put that energy into where they are. But ultimately, what you're doing is you're starting to, it's an ancestral thing. You are too connected to that, and you start to do it for yourself. And then you start to open up your energy and receive, that information, that guidance, or whatever it is, um, from them. So uh, that's what ancestral veneration is.
okay. Attuned Chaos said it's healing your bloodline.
Hmm.
We hear a lot about, hi, Maribel, we hear a lot about generational trauma. And we talk about healing ourselves from generational trauma, but I don't hear a lot about healing and the ancestral trauma or doing any work for the ancestors. So
Hmm.
is the assumption or the understanding that they're still here with us on this plane in some way, or is that not important? Is that not, am I not getting it?
Um, are they here on this physical plane? I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe it's some reincarnation, something. I don't know where they are located, but when I start to talk about some of my more recent experiences, hopefully it'll start to make more sense.
Okay.
But when I started, um, like I said, nobody at that time, like nobody came and was like, "Hey, girl, I'm here." Like it was just something I was, And again, it's like I said, you start to do it for yourself, right? And so I'll just go basically ask for their liberation, right? All the stuff that they never got to do when they were here in the physical plane. I started asking for that to be lifted from them. And like I said, you may think it's just focusing on them, but actually you start to do it for yourself as well.
So what did it do for you? Or is it doing for you?
It brought me out here. And so like I so it brought me out here and they basically they guided me to the pathway to ascension, if I could put it that way.
Okay.
So when we go back into pre-colonial spiritual practices, they understood what that process was, or they had more of a grasp on it on an energetic level.
Okay.
And so what spiritual practices, whatever it is, so for religions, for those who practice spirituality, like for me, it was my ancestors. They're starting grounds, right? They're starting places, and I think like a lot of people kind of just stop there because they think that's just it. Like they conceptualize it from that standpoint, but don't understand it's more to it. So when I started connecting with my ancestors, they led me. I'm in Jamaica, y'all. Sorry for the music. Uh,
I don't think.
oh, okay. They led me to the pathway to ascension, basically. So I started venerating them. I started connecting with them. I was basically led to the path of going to Jamaica. It was set up for me, right? Well, when I started all those years ago doing it, and again, you don't know what's happening. You're just doing stuff, right? So you don't know when it's gonna come.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a little online work, stuff happened. I had the urge to move. It again, that's also the period when I started like just learning to listen to myself and like stop. I would when I would think about doing something and it wouldn't work out, or like I just had the innate like, I don't know if I should do this. Like that's when I started like really like listening to myself and started tuning people out. I think I talked about like how I had family telling me, "Oh, you need to go get a job and, go get another job and you need to go do this. You need to go try and apply for this PhD program and all this other stuff." And I was like that was deposited in me like for a reason. And so like um I had the urge to go to Jamaica, and that's when stuff started to like ramp up. Like yeah. So that's what they did for me. They were leading me to a particular pathway. Um
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Okay. Good. So, Yaya Indigo says this practice is found in many cultures and spiritual traditions worldwide, including African, Asian, Indigenous, Latin American traditions.
Mhm.
We call colonize. So we're talking today about decolonizing your spiritual practices or your divine. Decolonizing the Divine is Mocha Moizelle's book. But So decolonizing, beautiful book. We're gonna
All
talk about it. Drop the link to y'all in just a second. So we talked decolonizing because there were spiritual practices, and there was a connection to God that people had all over the world, and that colonizers had to strip people from. Right?
Mhm.
The colonizers came in and had to strip people from that connection so that they could be the God, right? Or
Yeah,
whatever they could be the God, them or the
yeah,
money, capitalism could be
yeah,
the God or whatever,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so you're talking returning to something that we had in us all along, or that we've been carrying with us all along.
yep, it's there. It's there. It's there. Yeah.
So yeah. So this is a question that I want to ask you. So I am a idiot in this space. I'm an idiot. Okay. So friends, your questions, put your questions in the chat because I'm going to ask some very simple questions like a simpleton. Okay. So I'm going to ask some questions, and thank you for the questions that are already here because I need because you know the questions that you have are going to be the question better than the questions that I have. So High Vibe is saying that we have ancestor guides. So your ancestors guided you to Jamaica
Mhm.
so that for what to what end, for what purpose?
Um, so they guided me to Jamaica, again to free up my energy.
Okay.
Um, so this is where I had to start getting into like the spiritual processes,
Okay.
okay, and like a little bit of ascending. Okay, so we have again been conditioned to fixate our. I'm going. I'll be referencing energy and energetics a lot because my book does get more to like the science a little. It's not calculus, okay, but it gives a little to like the energetics and the science behind spiritual connections, right? Your energetic system has been conditioned to function in servitude, and to service things and that's not of your highest good. When they brought me to Jamaica, when I disconnected from that, which was our interpretation of living in America, you free up your energy from working or being, like a mule. You free up your energy from that slave energy, like constantly in servitude, that rat race, all the stuff that you talk about on your channel, like you free up your energy from that. But we frame you just probably verbalize differently. When you free up your energy, because this is energetics, when you free up your energy, you then start to be able to receive that higher level of communication and that guidance that you are intended to get. It's harder for you to receive this information when you have been conditioned to fixate your energy down here.
Okay.
So that's how basically it works on an energetic standpoint. So that's what happened when I came to Jamaica. Like I started to release all that stuff. I started to basically free up my energy. I just got to go like experience and just be still. Right. You
Mhm.
can't really be still in America. And in order for you to receive that guidance, you have to be still. Like you have to be able to like tune in and listen. You have to be able to recognize communication when it's happening. And that's another thing. A lot of us, again, we have been socially conditioned that God communicates. You only understand God through the Bible, or you understand God through the church. When you understand that God literally be connecting with you all kind of ways and talking to you all kind of ways,
Yeah.
that's when you can start like rapid speed moving and doing and like all this other stuff. It's hard to do that when you live in America or you operate within that class system of America. Of course, like those who have the money and the wealth and all this stuff can, do all this stuff. When you've been programmed to be a worker bee, programmed to be in servitude and put your energy in all these things that don't serve you, then it's harder for you to understand and interpret what's going on up here.
Yeah, we stay so occupied in like survival mode that we
Mhm.
don't get to be our highest version of ourselves, right?
Yep.
What highest version of ourselves? I always understood that to mean like the to me a highest version of me is like the lightest version because I'm like a floater. I'm here to float through life. I'm not here for the ground. I'm not here to be grounded in reality or any of that. I'm here to float.
Yep.
And to me the highest version of me is like almost literally the highest, like the floating, the the one who is not weighed down by
Yep.
things.
Yep.
And that's how I always interpret that. So you using ascension is very similar to the way I would be like higher. I got higher tattooed on me a while ago, right?
Yeah.
The way I'm like I want to keep going higher and higher. I think
Mhm.
we all understand that there is a version of us that a
That
better
is free,
yeah, free. Yeah.
basically. That's
Yeah.
free. That's yeah.
Yeah.
So
We're often like though so serious about it, but I don't know. One thing that I appreciate about you is that you're full of joy and that sometimes when people talk about things like this, they're so serious. I don't get it. I'm
so
like, God,
really
girl.
that okay. So this is again is another because all right. So um God exists. There's a feminine aspect and there's a masculine aspect to God. And sisters up there like, hello. Hi. Good morning. How y'all doing? Like we have been again conditioned to fixate all of our energy towards the male, be it spirituality or whatever thing. That more rigid, um, like control based version. It wasn't for us. And if we could even go as far as to say most spiritual texts, most religions were not for women. Like they were to kind of like help men understand the essential pathway. When women are in their energy, they're already there. Like you're already there. You to a certain level, you're already there. So you, the feminine aspect of God is more free flowing. She it's a woman, right? Like it's more like lighthearted. It's more free flowing. She wouldn't want you to have like this rigid connection with her. And so like as above, so below, the same way you communicate with your friends and your girlfriends and like the women that you naturally connect with and you love with and you share your energy with, it's the same. It's literally the same. Like that's what it is. So you have that natural connection, you have that natural apparatus, you have that natural access to the divine. It's not this holier than thou something. Don't when you have this holier than thou understanding of God, it doesn't feel natural, does it? Like it feels like, oh, I gotta. It's not a natural thing. That's not what God is. Like that's not what God is at all. It's like the same way that you have this love and this energy for the people that you connect with. It's literally the same, and it wants you to have this free like connection, like that's my homegirl. That's all. That's how I talk to, you know what I'm saying? Like we here, we tight like this. Like that's what it is. And women were not supposed to be in this structured, rigid, like um connection with God to that. And it doesn't feel natural. Like it feels like you forcing something. It don't feel like there's somebody like you can go chill and hang with and talk with. It's literally the same as you would with the people that you share that love and energy and things with. That's how you can start thinking about it. And I would want to say men took that more rugged approach, and that is their interpretation of divine. But that is for them to help them ascend. You don't need that rigid ruggedness, like, and that's another topic. But you don't need that type of relationship dynamic with God. Right,
That's
and
all.
I say divine feminine. I know some people get off put by it, but that's literally what you're naturally connected to it. That's your natural connection to God. Like you're naturally connected to it. You don't need that version of it.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. So let me tell you, anytime I hear people talking about divine feminine, I roll my eyes because I think I know what's coming next. Because a lot of people talk divine feminine, quote unquote, as a way to tell women what to do, right? As a way to tell women, like, you're not, they add in like the femininity talk, and you don't present femininely enough, and you don't talk softly enough. And then it becomes, now you got to let a man lead you, and you're not right. And
But
so I turn my ears off when I start hearing divine feminine. And so I guess I've been missing out on a lot of stuff.
no, most of us have been programmed to understand the feminine through the masculine lens because that's
Yeah.
what they told you that it was, or that's their perception of it. That's what they like. That's what they're attracted to. So that's what it is. But the divine, it has nothing or anything to do about appeasing men. It
Okay.
ain't got it ain't got nothing to do about appeasing men. Like actually,
That's how they
it,
always, that's where they always take it though.
no, that's not what it is. But that's what again, that's our programming. And it's like everything is done to appease men. When you liberate yourself from that, and you understand what the divine feminine, you okay. When you operate in your energetic system, the divine, you have natural connection to divine energy. Basically, that's all it is. It's not appeasing men, but that's their interpretation of it again because that's what they that's what their understanding of the feminine is. They don't actually understand and know the feminine because that's been suppressed. They don't understand what it is, and so that's what they identify that as.
Harlem Minded said, I was also wondering what was coming next. I know I'm not the only person who's like, ugh, here we go. So I appreciate that. Don't worry. You don't have to worry. One of my only screening processes for my guests on this channel, you have to be a Black woman, except for I have had a couple of men as guests. And you cannot tell Black women that they need a man. Okay. If I ever hear you anywhere talking about, here's your problem, here's why you don't have a man, I'm never going to be a guest on my show. So you never have to worry that that's going to be the focus. I don't have male-centered guests. I don't have male-centered friends. And Ms. Mocha Moizelle is my friend. So y'all don't have to worry, okay? You don't have to worry. But I do. Every time I hear that, I'm like, here we
Yeah,
go. Here she
I
go. Here she
I understand, but that's not what it is. That's not what it is. That's the world's interpretation of femininity. It's through the patriarchal lens, but the feminine is what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lighter, like, not I want to say lighter, but a different type of connection to the divine, a different type
Mhm.
of connection to God, to spirituality than what men have told us it's supposed to be, than the dogmatic and structured and strict and
Mhm.
punitive approach that men have created to
Yes. Yes.
inside of religion.
Yes.
Yeah, I see here that. let me see. I tried to start, but I don't think I got to the right one. That religion, like religions are always, um, um, I wish I could find it. Most religions are actually harmful to women because they're intimidated by women. Hi, April.
If you like,
So
when you start to understand who and what you are and what you have access to, yeah,
we've got the power.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I get into that some more, but I don't know if you want to.
You guide this, as I told you. You're gonna have to guide this, okay?
Okay, so let me get more into like what started what my ancestors led me to. Okay,
Okay.
and so this is again, I was not somebody who was heavily into religions or spirituality at all. Like I wasn't like anti it, but I also wasn't like, let me go to church every Sunday and stuff like that. I grew across the street from a church, ironically.
But y'all didn't, y'all were not churchgoers like that.
They tried to be, but you know, like how people just be going just for like out of obligation or like for show or stuff like that, just to make appearances and not be like, oh, not to be appear like that family in the community that don't believe in God and all that type of stuff.
Okay. Okay.
But it wasn't something I was naturally drawn to. So when I started with ancestral venerations, these they're starting grounds. Even your ancestors, they're starting grounds. They're starting processes. They'll put you on your pathway. If you follow religions, they'll put you on your pathway. And like I said, with a lot of people with spiritual concepts, they get stuck at theory, right? Like you know how to regurgitate stuff, you know how to repeat things, you know how to light a candle, or you know how to set up an altar. You know, those things are great. And I want people to understand that in order to actually start ascending, or what people identify what Jesus did, basically, is some scientific understanding behind it. So with these spiritual teachers or with these spiritual masters, whatever you identify culturally, some people, we know Jesus, we know Buddha, or you know, whatever spiritual, they're trying to teach you how to do the thing. Like they're trying to teach you how to actually ascend, like transcend, and like tap into that higher stuff. But the thing about that is that we were doing it first. Uh, um, we were doing all the transcending and the ascension and the healing people and the all those things first. So I have a book, but I have started learning more. You may be familiar with. I just got this book. It's called The Sibyls. Basically, it talks about the Black women who were the first, who were the originals, doing all the stuff that all the Jesus and all the other people are more popular for. But it started like we were the ones to do that. But basically, whatever you identify as is that person that did the thing that transcended and that we follow and we repeat. They're trying to teach you how to accomplish it with the verbiage and the wording that they had at the time. So
Okay.
I did that. I transcended, ascended, or whatever. And I did that. I did the thing. And so that is basically what I tried to, not try to, that's what I put in this book, right? There are pathways to extension, basically. And so when you stop at theory, you just, you know how to say stuff, you know how to repeat stuff, but you're not actually reaching that level to where you can just be in complete synchronicity, like with the frequency of God is what I call it. So energy, frequency, something, you can get there. Then that's what they're trying to teach you how to do. And but like we were doing it first, but again, with all like the religions and things like that, they have removed a woman from that and made it like this is where it started when we were the ones doing it originally and teaching people how to do it. So like I said, I just got this book. Um some other books I just finished reading, but in my book I give you a whole plethora of like resources how you can go learn more and deeper
Uh,
about it.
let's go back a little bit. So first of all, so if your ancestors are the guides, are these like physical, biological ancestors? And what if your ancestors were terrible people? That's a real question.
You don't have to. So when I started with my ancestors, I would ask for my most high and benevolent ancestors, like the ones who operated in goodness, right? That's when I started. Now, even now that I'm at a particular place, I because I've ascended and I understand like the human condition and how people are programmed to function and things like that. I will venerate, and venerating your ancestors doesn't mean you have to ask them like, come here, sit with me and things like that. I'm venerating that lineage. Like I'm healing that lineage. So whatever it is that caused you to function like that, I ask you for to be liberated from that as well. It doesn't have to be, I want you to come work with me, even though that's how I started. And it's not something that I um do often now, especially like when because I understand now everything is connected. Like they're literally talking and living and communicating with me. Like it's not so much for as I'm putting that energy outside of myself.
Okay.
That's so if they were terrible people, you don't have to deal with them. But like again, now that I'm in a higher place and I understand, like again, the human condition, I ask for them to be liberated for that, so they can free up their energy and go be free and not do that stuff no more.
Heal them. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you for that. All right. And so if they're guiding us to our our highest selves, guiding us to ascension, are we all on the same like does ascension look the same for all of us? Or that
So
right, that higher version of, does it look the same for all of us?
okay, so probably not, but I don't know if it look because I'm not everybody, so I don't know if it looks the same, but I can tell you what happened with me. So like last year, um, I think I shared a little bit about this. Last year, oh, okay, last year I started getting heavy communication from water, like from the water. I think I talked about this. And again, it's another reason why I was called to like this. I was connected to the water in some way. I started getting heavy communication from the water. So last year, probably like I think around like it was January, it's the beginning of the new year. I would go sit at the water. I would go to the river, and I started just having and just I already started learning about how the elements and how we're connected, and I would just go chill at the water. Water is a sentient being. Water is alive. You heard it before it goes mainstream. Okay. Um, but again, at the time, like I'm just doing stuff. I'm not understanding it. But I started getting heavy communication from the water. And then I want to say, and so I had when I was in Jamaica, I had didn't have anywhere to stay, so I was doing Airbnb hopping, and I don't know if I shared the story. So I went to one Airbnb, and when I left, the owner told me the bathroom had flooded out, um, and I was like, I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't have like you saw the room before I left. I let you come check it. Like I didn't know anything was going on in the water. The water flooded out in the bathroom. Um, and so, I'm just like, okay, well, my bad. I didn't know. And so then I went to the next Airbnb, and this is on two different sides of the island. Like, you know, the next one I went to, the same thing happened, and their bathroom flooded out. And I was like, oh, let me get up out these people's houses. I don't know what's going on. I was like, what's happening? Um, I started having dreams. I started having dreams. I was just engulfed in water. And all these water things just started happening. So I was like, I had to call because again, this stuff is new to me. I don't know what's going on. I called a friend. She's Haitian. I was like, girl, you know what this means? And she was like, oh, the water's trying to like talk to you, like trying to get you to acknowledge it or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. So of course I'm scared. I'm like, oh, what the water want with me?
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the water want with me. I don't know what I done did. Like what? And so basically I was like, okay, I accept it. Whatever it is, I accept that communication, whatever, all the stuff. So that's last year is when like I was like, okay, I guess I'm a water child. And then I want to say the lunar eclipse last year. Um, the lunar eclipse last year. And so I'm not too familiar with like the astrological stuff. Like I'm learning about it, but I know when astrological events, I did notice things would like start happening to me, right? Like I would feel more lighter, or I would feel more free, things like that. But the eclipse was when, like, again, I think I shared the story as well. The day I woke up and like I felt like I was experiencing the world for the first time. Like I was born again, quote unquote, if you want to use that phrasing. And I was exhausted for like 3 days. I didn't have energy to do anything. And I went outside and it was like, it's basically you start seeing like with new eyes. So that's what happened with me. And so that's when I was like, what in the world happened here? And basically like I had freed up my energy so much, I became completely like free. I ascended, crossed over. I don't know with words because I try to be careful because it's like I didn't die, but I was like out for 3 days.
Yeah.
And that's when like some people call it like a light body, some people call it a Kundalini awakening, some people call it a spiritual awakening. That's basically my energy was like completely free. Now, why this is important, right? Because we are energetic beings, right? And your energetic system, you want to think about it like a radio, right? You have to tune in to like the different radio to get the sound. It's the same way how it is with the energy or the frequency of God. Like your energy has to be clear. I mean, you already are getting that communication, but again, you may not be interpreting things, or you may not be understanding it. But once you free up your energy and you clear and you become receptive to it, then that's when like you basically people call it Christ consciousness or whatever. Basically, you start returning back to yourself, like
Mhm.
that aspect of it. So that's what happened. When that happened, then again, you start getting more downloads, you start getting more direct communication. And again, it's the communication is all around you. God is communicating with you in all kinds of ways. God is not holier than thou. God could be communicating with me through rap songs. I could be I could be watching, I could be looking at the TV and have this urge to watch something about vampires. I ain't never watched nothing about vampires. I ain't never been interested in vampires. I go watch this show and it's some situation that I'm exactly in playing out on the TV. Um, right there. Um, all kinds of stuff. You will start receiving that like information because your energy is clear and free enough that like that can start happening. And then I start moving through things at an expedited rate
Okay.
rather than I would if I was just still like, in survival mode and lack mode and, all those things that keep us like down. It's harder for you to do that. It's hard for you to get up here when you think you're supposed to give all this energy to this stuff down here.
So what, like moving through things at a faster rate? What is like what?
You just get so, for example, like with my apartment that I'm in now in Jamaica. So um I had the urge to go into the mountains. Again, it's all God communicates through feeling urges and things like that. Like you just had the urge to do something that's like, and when you go against those urges and when you not listening to them, then that's why it might be when you start playing yourself. I had the urge to go up to the mountains of Jamaica. I was looking for the place. I was looking for a place, and none of them that I was looking for were like getting back on me, or it's like I was having issues with all these other things. And so when I went into the mountains, I saw the sign, I took a picture, um, and then I just got this place much quicker than I would because getting a place in Jamaica is hard. But I got it. I got through with it much quicker than I typically would have had I not like been. I would get um, basically instructions or stuff on it's really fascinating.
Is this like what we would call manifestation?
You could it's manifesting, but what I'm saying is when it's easier for when you it's manifesting. You start with manifesting. It's manifesting, yeah. But what I'm saying is when you tether your energy to God's, basically, you have like clear instructions and guidance on take this step, do this step. You have this urge to do this. You have the desire to do this. With my car that I got recently, um, my my Jimmy broke down in the road, right? My
You
old
just,
car, my old
oh,
car. It's like my old like little car. Um, it broke down, but I wasn't like worried about it or anything like that. I was actually like, oh, like when stuff start happening to me in clusters. Basically, I know like something energetically is happening, and so my car broke down. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a new one, and so that's when I went to the dealership. The lady gave me the information that I didn't ask her for. She just gave me the stuff. I was like, oh, okay, let me take this. What I'm supposed to do with this, and then I would go. I went to the bank, and they was like, oh, you might need a 10% deposit. I was like, I don't have 10% deposit for a new car. Where that's gonna come from? I left that place. I started getting like notifications about some stock stuff. I'm not familiar with stocks. Um, but I was dabbling in it like a little while ago. And so I was like, let me see what these notifications, let me see what I got in these little stock thingies. I
stop.
had like I didn't understand. It was just something, they tell you do stocks. And I was like, oh, let me try this. And I would put like a little something here and there. I didn't know what I was doing. But when
Okay.
I checked, among all my 3 little stock accounts, I had the exact amount that I needed for the deposit for the car and like the first year insurance. I had everything I needed to cover that. And so it's like when you'll start like pulling pieces like from stuff probably like back in your chat in the past, even from your childhood, I'm getting things like that may start coming like reintroducing itself back to you. You'll every basically everything will start becoming full picture. You'll start getting clearer communication, and you can just have like a more, I don't want to say rapid fire, but your channel is clear. And so like then God can be like, all right, do this, do this, do that, boom, boom. Like then you'll have the urges and the moves or something like, well, angel numbers, apparently, a lot of people will see those now. Any type of means that can be communicated to you, that's what it's gonna happen. It's not gonna be like some booming voice coming down, like,
Mhm.
it it's gonna happen through energy and synchronicity and motion, and you putting those things like that's how it's going to happen. Because that's how it works. And
I
then yeah.
I I feel like I'm not at a level where hear communication from God to me. It always has to come through other people, right, for me. And I think that that's because I'm not tuned in. I'm not really plugged in, or maybe
You're probably it's not like so like God it's an intelligent frequency. It's a infinite, intelligent, expansive frequency. I don't hear God talking to me directly. God is
yeah,
going to be like, God will can send you an individual to now. This is where you have to start being discerning, all right?
yes.
Especially like with people, because like, um, but like I said, you might just be gravitated to do a particular thing. Sometimes I'll just have the urge to go some random place I ain't never been there before, and then I get some type of synchronicity about something else. Like it's not gonna be like God, like
No, I don't expect a booming voice, but I do like I don't have those I don't think I experienced those like something just told me to. I just knew that I don't, but I do hear it through other people often. I think that I just
yeah.
need to hear, I need to hear things through another person sometimes, even though I'm a person who likes quiet and stillness and creating an
Well,
opportunity.
it's so here's the thing, like, so because we've been removed from our awareness and we don't
Yeah.
understand how this works, and we've been told, oh, you gotta the good book, or you gotta go to church and things like that, like the awareness may not be there. That's how it has to start, right? So like my example with the water, like again, like years ago, I just started like, let me, I got my water, I got my cup, I got my earth, wind, and fire. Like I'm just, that's it. You're basically what you're doing is you're establishing that awareness. If you don't have the awareness, then I'm not gonna say that they're probably not, but it's gonna not probably come to you as like easily, because most people don't have that awareness. We don't have the awareness that water is alive, and I'm going to talk about the water some more. We don't have that awareness that a lot of us are, told that our ancestors are demonic, or anything practicing anything spiritually outside of Christianity is evil. A lot of us just don't have that awareness and understanding of how it works. And the more that we come into an awareness of what that is, then that, you may start getting these things. And like I said, it's not, you'll start picking up on, your senses will start to intensify, right? Your, what they call them, the clairs, your knowings will start to intensify. It's basically your senses will start to get heightened. So recently, I think my smell got activated because I've been getting these whiffs of cigarette smoke from somewhere. I don't know where they come from. What was that? I was like, that my uncle? I was like, this smells like Uncle Bubba. I don't know where it's coming. I ain't never smoked a cigarette in my life, but it's just like I just had like, where's these cigarettes coming from? I don't know. I think maybe a few months ago, I will be listening to a song in a car, and then I would get out of the car and go to the establishment. That same song was playing, and that would happen a lot. And all the other, once you start to ascend, you may start having these like bodily sensations, but it's like basically your energy is integrating. Like that's all it is, and your stuff will start to heighten. But so, any questions?
Sometimes my ears, so I have hearing loss, and so I don't
Mhm.
know if this is a real thing or what, but sometimes my ears, I feel like my ears are, it's like that radio signal, and I'm like, oh, something's about to happen, but then nothing happens. It's like, right, little signal sounds, and I'm like, oh, this is it, Stephanie. It's finally time. You're about to get some kind of message. There's a message coming to you, and then nothing. Voice of Carrie says it's just tinnitus. I was like, it's time. It's go time, right? This is my message. I'm getting it. I'm about to get a
Well,
message.
what you can do is start asking for that, like communicate, like whoever's out there, whoever's on my team, God, ancestors, whoever it is, like I'm ready and I'm open to start receiving. Like they have to like, I don't want to say they have to know, but it's basically like, is her energy ready to start receiving this stuff like that? Like again, like a lot of us, they call ancestors demonic, they demons.
Yeah.
And imagine your grandma or somebody trying to come give you some good news or trying to give you some information, and you didn't try to banish her out. You
Ain't
didn't
no,
call her a demon.
ain't no way. It's not possible my ancestors were demons. How would I look so good?
You did like, I wouldn't want to fool with you either. You didn't try to banish me out of here, like, it's like
Craig DeLarge is also Team Uncle Bubba. I have an Uncle Bubba. Well, he's Uncle Bubba or Bubbles, depends on who you ask.
and
So we
I knew it was him because that was his house. His house smelled like cigarettes. That's it, nothing else. Like I was like, my grandma smoked too, so I was like, I don't know if it was her, but I wouldn't identify that smell with her. I was like, that gotta be Uncle Bubba, because I don't know who in the world else would smell like that. But basically you just start to get heightened senses, and you start to get more clear sense. You'll start knowing what's what. Like it's like I wasn't somebody who necessarily sought after like particular things. When it's time for me to get it, that's when I get bashed with like, okay, like with the water, like, okay, girl, it's time to go. So you can start basically like you have to welcome that in, because some people say, well, maybe they want you to be ready, or they want you to be ready to receive it, or maybe they want your energy to be open enough to. Because I think if I had started experiencing the stuff that I did back years ago, I probably would have like lost it, because I was ready to start like going down that path. That's when things started happening. Yeah. So
Yeah. Timing is it's always the right time, right? I mean, things happen at the right time. We often say like, I wish I had known this earlier or whatever, but
And so I think like, and also a lot of people think it's like a either or, like it's like God or the ancestors or
Yeah.
this and that. And I like to think of it as like it's a system. Like your body has a system for functionality, the world has a system for functionality, everything has a system to help it function. So I would think the guy has the same thing. God is God. Then we have the water and the elements down here. You have your ancestors, and then you got you. Like it's a system to help you like do what you need to do.
If you
Yeah.
can understand a priest, right? If you can understand having a priest or a pastor, right, who communicates with the people, you can understand having ancestral communication. You're just choosing not to understand it or choosing not to participate or whatever. That's your
And
choice.
so like not so when I started ancestral veneration, this again was those years ago when I was just a baby and I just didn't know what I was doing. I was just dabbling. I would have dreams occasionally. And one dream I had a relative, she had recently passed away. And she came to me in my dreams and she was like, let everybody know I'm okay. And then she went and pranced into the water. She went into the ocean. I was like, oh, I didn't tell nobody nothing because I was like, I don't know what that was.
Okay.
I didn't tell anybody to this day. I had that dream because I didn't, I was like, I don't know what's going on. But as of recently, my grandmother has come to my dreams. She's come to my dreams. The water has. I told her I was having dreams about water. So, for example, and it's not again. This is how I receive communication through my dream. Okay, so I had a dream. Um, the first part of the dream, it was basically some of my family. It was something to do with like going and sorting out some land, basically. Like, but it's not like go do the land stuff. It's like they have to have it to be some type of dramatic something for you to like get the picture.
Okay.
So that was one portion of the dream. I'm not gonna because family stuff is whatever. And then the second portion of the dream, um, it was my grandmother was letting me know about these guys that I'm in communication with. And she was so one of the guys I'm in communication with, like he was just there. I guess was gonna go out on a date or something like that, right? And then this big muscle bound man or something just came out of nowhere and just like knocked him out the way. And then I saw her face afterwards. That's how I was like, oh, like she trying
She,
to tell me something.
she
And
said,
so basically what she was like, what I interpreted as I don't talk to a big muscle bound man, but she was basically letting me know that's out of those two, one of them is gonna be the bigger man, I guess, or like the one who does what needs to be done as opposed to like the other one. And then she just like disappeared. So I was like, okay, cool, got it, got the message. And then I had a dream recently the other day. This is the water. So, like I said, I was having dreams previously, but like this the other day, she came to me again. She took me shopping. 'Cause I was explaining to her, but I don't know if they sound out there. I know it probably does, but um,
listen, we're listening.
the water, she literally took me shopping. But I'm going to tell you what I interpreted from that. So my friend, I was having a dream, and my friend was braiding my hair. And she ran out of braiding hair. So I was like, okay, let me go to the beauty supply store and get some more hair. And so when I go outside, I don't know where we were. It was some city, somewhere kind of fancy. It was a road, like a highway, and it was
Mhm.
like busy street, and then the water was across on the other side. I want to say it was like a coastline or something like that. So I'm standing there, and then my aunt appears. I don't know where she came from, and then she flagged down like a cart or a little go kart or something person. It was like a little tuk tuk thing. And so we get in there and he drives us to a mall. And so we're standing out at the mall. It's like I'm not at the mall, I'm across the street from the mall. And it's this big, beautiful, shiny, sparkly building. And I was just looking at it and all like, oh, it's so pretty. And then this big ocean wave just come over the mall, like whoosh. And then that was it. I went in and then I got whatever I wanted. So that's like basically what the water is telling me is that I'm in this period now, like where like things will probably start, whatever I want will probably just start coming about, and things like that. That's what I interpreted from that dream. But that's how things will start like communicating to you when you understand what's happening and you're receptive, you open to it, and you learn how to interpret stuff instead of like being in fear of it.
I
Yeah.
I need to do a better job of remembering dreams, I think. I as a young woman, I had a recurring dream that I was in some people's house, just a house, in some people's house. And then they would pull up into the driveway and I would leave. And I believe that was me being a house sitter in my younger it right that was my like house sitter foretelling dream. But most of my dreams are not very interesting or helpful. Renee is gently gathering me. I just want you to know, Renee, I can read. I read this message, but I would like a different level of tapped in. Okay. I would like
You're doing like the work, right? Right. Again, it's like you being like that individual, like alone. You may not be receiving, spiritual communication, and you may be. You may have had the urge to do these things because you're being guided to do so. But like again, we just don't have that awareness, right? Like, how would I have come to be on your channel and talk about this stuff had you not built this platform when you did it? Like, it's happening and stuff regardless. Do you understand what's happening? And like I said, like, just having awareness is like, oh, like this is something outside of me that's going on. That's when you might start getting like, you know, I've been having some like dreams about yachts. And I was like, this was Stephanie, because I didn't want no yacht.
yes,
I don't know.
that's my message. Write them down and save them for me. Those are my mess. I told you my stuff comes from other people. Okay. Those messages are for me. Please and thank you.
It's not that
Yeah.
I think the dreams are like, what's this lady? Like hokey. Is that it's like, I just find them so funny. It's like, girl, you be an extra. Like, you just big ocean wave, just come over the mall and just like
She could have just said, she could have used her words.
the water
Instead,
is deep.
let me show you.
She's a diva. She's a diva. But you just want to start to start developing this acknowledgement and an appreciation of things. Like I said, especially water.
Okay.
Um, you just start to think like, what can you do without water? You can't do anything without water. Um, like it's beautiful. People love to go and enjoy themselves, and it's like that's the energy. Like again, like that water is attracted to. So like she's beautiful. She can't be dangerous. That's a woman's energy. Like that's what like she's a diva. So
Yeah.
water is everything, right? And I recently read a book. It's called Spirits Come from Water. It's kind of like talking about stuff similarly that I'm talking about. But again, it's coming from the African pantheon of like how we always had that connection and understanding of the water before all that stuff transpired and happened, because it's there, it's already there. And like I said, this book that I just started, it talks about how, well, the theft of African prophecy from by the Catholic Church, and it basically talked about how the women were this is how society was functioning before we got introduced to all these
Yeah.
things. The women were connected to the water. Women were in community with women. Like this how it's basically what I have interpreted is we are going back to that. Not like, going to that physical time period, but that system and the way of doing things is what we're returning to.
Can you
And
can you repeat the full name of that book, the full title and the author?
so I was not able to find this on the library app because I tried to look there first. It's called The Sibyls, the first prophetess of Mommy Water, or water, as they would call it. And it's the theft of African prophecy by the Catholic Church, Mama Zobi. So all the stuff that they talk about in religions, all the
Spell
stuff that
Zobi.
we talk about, huh?
Spell Zobi.
Let me type it. Mama, let me type it because her name is, I'm going to type it
Mhm.
in the
Just spell it, Clarice. I mean, just spell it, ma'am. What we're going to ask was Zogbe. The author's name is Mama Zogbe, Zogbe. Okay, can you make on your YouTube channel a reading list video?
Yeah, I have on my Amazon list a book of recommended readings, but I can put it yeah, go watch my latest channel and I'll put it there. My latest video and I'll put it there.
Yeah, you may want to make a full video about your reading list for, you know,
But yeah,
you may.
all the stuff that they talk about in religions was basically based off of these women and like all the information, all the spiritual knowledge that they had. This is basically where it came from. So it just basically goes back to understanding how Black women were basically the originators, as usual. Um, even spiritually wise, even spiritually knowledge wise, like that's what we were doing. All the stuff that they give, no shade to Jesus or none of them. But basically this is where it started. Like, yeah.
So you weren't raised in the church, but you've said or you weren't really like not heavy in the Christian church. But can you tell us how are you pulling in some practices from the church that you recall, or did you start from zero? I mean, not zero, but start from scratch. You know what I'm saying? I hope you know what I'm saying.
I started from scratch. Basically, I don't really do practices now. And so I don't do
Okay.
anything now because like they're training grounds. They're to help you understand the concept of what God is. Like, right? Once you have to move beyond the theory and the practices, like, and once you do that, you don't have your energy is in sync. You don't have to, you're connected. Like I don't have to go outside and do practices and take anything from really like if you are a woman, you have that natural apparatus within you. You have it there. And you don't necessarily have to do any type of practices. So those practices were for those who were trying to learn. And once what you were saying, your energy is there. Like um I don't think no, I did if so, but to go back to the question, I didn't. Like I would go to the church and it's like you just there just to be there, but I wasn't like I was like basically guided on how to go about having that experience authentically, if I could put it like that. And then, like I said, tapping into my ancestors and venerating my ancestors, they guided me through that, but I wasn't like following any traditions. Like I just infused that energy into myself, and then these things came to be.
But you don't you keep you so you're saying we are you saying you don't have spiritual practices? Because you do altar stuff, right? Or no?
I s- I did like okay. What I'm trying to explain is the practices. They're practice.
Yeah.
Once you master it, so once you become a master, and everybody may, I don't know how that works. Once
Okay.
you become an ascended master, you don't have to practice no more. Like you've graduated until
Okay.
you know what you're doing. It's for practice. It's to teach you what's going on, how energy works, how to connect, and things
Yeah.
like that. It's a practice. So I did have an altar, and I still occasionally I'll set something up just to be like, thank you. When I got my place, I was set up like a little something. Thank y'all for guiding me to this place. But once you understand how energy works, once you understand energetics, once you understand frequency, you become one with it. It's like you become connected to it, and like like that's how I don't like do a practice. I'll you're basically kind of like in stillness most of the time. Like I'm
Okay.
receiving communication all the time. You practicing is learning basically how to free up your energy. This is the stuff that I get into into my book. It's like this is what I talk about to help you get a clearer picture of what that looks like. So it's practice, it's theory, it's helping you grasp the concept mentally. But like I said, when you start getting into the energetics, the stuff that's been demonized basically,
Uh-huh.
that's when you getting on your path to actually mastering it. You becoming a ascended master is what they will call them. Like like how in most societies there's always this figure that they have that ascended it master. Like I'm the altar now. Like basically, if I can put it like that, like it's
Okay.
me. I don't
I'm
have to set up anything else.
okay. I'm used to things being a journey without a destination, but you're saying there's a destination here.
For me, it was, and this is where I have to kind of, because I don't know if if everybody is going to achieve it, but basically, what I'm trying to help communicate is that's what these spiritual masters were trying to get you to understand. That what the theory of it is, um, and so once you start tapping in, I don't know what the pathway is for you, but I'm saying for me, I got to a destination to where I no longer needed to practice. The practicing is basically helping you train yourself on how to access God's energy. That's what the practice is. Like it's
Okay.
literally practice. It's teaching you how to do it. So once you understand that, like I would say maybe work backwards. So like it wasn't like a clear cut pathway for me. Like when I was like, struggling with things, then I would go back and I would try, reconnect with my ancestors. I'll go listen to affirmations or, something, do vision boards. Those things are like techniques to kind of help you start conceptualizing things for yourself.
Uh-huh.
But once you master it, then like I don't necessarily need a vision board now. God already know what I want. I don't need a vision board. I'll just be like, okay, God, tell me what I'm supposed to do. Show me, and then that's why I said it's like once you have awareness of it, that's how it works. Then you can use those things to work backwards, right? Like I don't really get upset or angry at things anymore because my energetic state is up here now. I used to hear old church ladies say that they want others world, and I was like, I don't know what she talking about.
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
basically is like you're here on the physical, but your energy is, I would say, is tied. So you're getting this information, and then you're getting the information on how to communicate it in the physical. The practice is teaching you how to get there. Like it's there, and then once you sync your energy, then you don't like I'm the practice. Like I'm it's me, so I don't have to go outside of anything else. But you do the practices to help you understand because we need physicality to things. Like we can't touch it, we can't you can't feel
Yeah.
it. If you need that, you like most people start there and they start with the theory. They help you relay this information. But it's stuff beyond that. Again, the stuff that's been demonized or that we call demonic. That's the
Mhm.
energetics behind it. And understanding this energy. Like our ancestors knew that God knew they knew that God was something that was like God is in you. You have to have this awareness of it down here. Okay. If you don't have an awareness of it down here, then it's less likely that you're going to be able to get that information to execute what you need down here.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. I think I'm understanding. I came into this not understanding at all. But you do have a tool to help people who want to work on their practices, right? Who are still,
Yes.
going up the ladder.
Okay, so let me explain my book a little bit because, like I said, it's your framework for accessing the frequency of God. And I'm not even trying to do like a promo. I'm trying to help you understand what I'm talking.
Please
This
help
is your
me, help.
framework for accessing the frequency of God for ascension, liberation, and expansion without fear, oppression, judgment, control, or indoctrination as it was intended. And so I have charts, I have visual aids in here.
Okay.
This one is the evolution of spiritual understanding. I don't know if you can see it, but I have visual aids, I have charts and graphs in here um, to help you better understand. I have a glossary with definitions to help you understand energy and frequency work. Let me see what else I got. I have the stages of spiritual awakening. I made some adjustments to this, so it won't be the small in the updated version. These are the stages where I take you through like how it starts and then what happens when you achieve ascension.
Okay.
Um, I have an example of your energetic system, your energy body. So this is your physical body in the middle. And then you have your emotional body that, we know our emotions. We have that awareness. Um, then the mental body, your thought patterns, and your spiritual body. So like once you master yourself, you master your emotions, you master your mental, and then you master the spiritual, like that's I try my best to get a visual display of what it looks like.
Okay. Thank you very much for putting those charts in there for
I
helping.
try my best. And so what I'm trying to like, so whether or not you believe in Jesus, the concept was Jesus was a human who achieved ascension, and what they trying to do is teach you how to achieve ascension. Basically,
Uh,
not for you to be like, oh, Jesus,
we can,
thank you. You can
yeah.
do you. This is how you do it. This is how you do the thing. They're trying to teach you how to do the thing, right? But like I said, because again, with the communication at the time, and the powers that be and stuff at the time have communicated things a particular way. But it's like you don't really, if you just go back to your original functionality, you don't, you'll get it. Like you don't, you were the original. You were first. So like it's like no shade to none of them, but black women were doing it beforehand.
Uh-huh.
Before Jesus came about, you were doing the stuff. You were doing the thing. And so all these spiritual, even the greats, um what's his name, Aristotle, that's one of those famous philosophers. His teacher was a woman, like who gave him all that spiritual information and know how, like that you were doing it before. You have just been taught to seek it outside of yourself. So that's what I'm trying to communicate in the book, and what that actually is, so you can get on your pathway to whatever that looks for you.
I want to go in three different directions. Okay. So I'm thinking this through for myself. Okay.
I'm sorry,
So
overwhelming.
as a person who there are some practices in Christianity that I actually enjoy, right? That I like. Maybe I like them and I like connect to them because they predated Christianity, right? And they were practices that my ancestors did before Christianity. Because some things I really, I feel that. I
I would
really okay, so this is going a little bit. I haven't taken communion at church in I don't know how long, because churches are very rule based about who can take communion and who can't. I'm like, well, if everybody can't take it, I'm not taking it. But I really always liked it. I liked the ritual of communion. I liked even though it was grape juice, I really liked us all together. There's a song that we all sing at the same time. And I wasn't Catholic, so we didn't pass one cup, but we, little cups, and we drink at the same time. I always really liked those rituals. Maybe some of them are because it's things that my ancestors did and the church took them, right, and kind of like reworked them and made it Christianity instead of what we were doing before.
That the concepts are the same. So that's why I was like, you want to take all of them, like they're there to help you with the concepts, right? So when you are in communion, when you engage, you connect with people, like the concepts are the same no matter what pathway you take. Is training you on how God functions, basically, right? Um, your answer. So my ancestors, I learned how to connect with them, right? Because it's the same, understanding connection, understanding energy. Like it's moving it from. So there's a theory, right? So like we have the theory, and not this Christian. I don't think religions are themselves are bad. It's what has happened or what's been done to them, but the concepts are the same. Like the core foundations are the same, and that was the original institution that we had, like way back when. They just took them and applied their own things to it. But the concepts are the same. When you are in communion with people, you are connecting with people, and the energy is good. What are the mechanisms behind? What are the energetic mechanisms behind happening, right? And so that's why you have, when you understand that this is the verbal communication, this is it being exercised in the physical. What's happening on the energetic level is you're basically in that gratitude frequency of God. You are in that you're in that abundance frequency. You're in that energetic state. That's what it is, right? When you, so you have the theory of that's why you're doing these things, to foster that environment. You're fostering that energy. What's happening on the energetic level, and this is where you get into the science, is um you're freeing up your energy, right? This is practice. This is where the practice comes in. You learn how to free up your energy. You be in a good energy, you're in a good space, you feel good, you're connecting with people. That is that is it being exemplified in the physical. That's the, now you want to take that and understand it as energy, as how that's how God communicates and connects with us. So that's when we move beyond theory and we understand the energetic happenings behind it. That's when you can start having you can start building like upon that to again stay in that energetic state. So you like that part of that, you like the energy that you felt in that. The other stuff you probably didn't like gravitate towards, right?
Right.
Because it didn't feel good. So when it was the concept and it was the environment and the energy that you were in that, like, that part of it that you liked. That's the God part. The other stuff that you probably didn't like was them putting their own
Yeah.
sauce on it. Like, yeah.
Right. That's right. Being very the exclusionary part of the church, right? The we are better than everybody else part of the church. I never could, that never spoke to me. Yeah.
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 So I'm
Oh,
trying, it's the energies behind it. It's the energetics behind it. So once you understand the energetics behind it, so like again, the stuff that was demonized, because that's when you actually start to liberate yourself. That's when you God is like, and think about like all of our like leaders who, Harriet Tubman, all those people, like what did they do? They weren't Harriet Tubman was a hoodoo practitioner. She wasn't necessarily in the church, but she understood like the elements, she understood nature, she was receiving communication. What's his name? The slaves who went and revolted like against like they were tapped in and they understood it as a mechanisms for freedom. Like, and again, that is the part that gets demonized, that they don't want you to start tapping into. Like, God don't want you like sitting here struggling and suffering. He tried to tell you how to get free. But again, you can't receive that communication if you think, oh, I got to be like down here suffering and struggling. Like, no, that's not, yeah. So that like that your ancestors would, they knew the energetics behind it. They understood that it was not, even before language was communicated, languages were established. They understood the energies. So that's what we have to start conceptualizing. Like it's energies before any of that stuff was created. It was an energetic understanding. Like, and they knew, your ancestors knew that. They knew that before you got introduced to all these stuff. The women knew it before they got, we were told to seek men for spiritual guidance, right? And that's not their stuff. That ain't even their stuff. That's our stuff.
they don't have it to give.
That's yours. It's not theirs. So you've been taught to seek everything outside. You've been taught to seek it from the male. You've been taught to seek it outside of yourself. You've been taught to you literally have direct communication, understanding once when you understand how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Tapped in. Like they understood the elements, they understood nature, they understood that they were connected to nature. Like everything was interconnected. They had the understanding. Like it wasn't for it to just be repeating and regurgitating stuff. Like they're doing the thing. That's how you do it.
So you wrote the book. So Josette had a question about why you wrote the book. Why? Yeah. So why share this information? If you've, right. So you're at a level, right? You could just go on and live your life
It
and
was
be
given
like,
to me to
I
write.
got my.
It was given to me to write. When I'm telling you, that's how this works. So I had wrote a book of poetry when I was like really young, and then my aunt came to visit me recently, and she kept talking about write, 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 and I was like, I mean, I got something I can write about, but this is a lot of information. Like, how am I going to put it in something that people can understand? I'm hoping that people understand it, but it was given like I kept getting right in synchronicities. Write a book, write a book, write a, like it will that stuff. It will be deposited into you. Now that I finished writing the book, now I had a desire to open a bakery. I don't know.
Oh, what do you mean?
I don't know. I was like, open a bakery. And then it's like now I've just been researching on recipes and stuff. I'm not a baker. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like that's how stuff will start happening. It's like that's how it works. And so like it will and but also let me tell you how again, so when I went to go pick up the book from the little place where I get my packages from out here in Jamaica,
Uh-huh.
I went to go pick it up. And so when I opened the book, when I opened the package, like I was looking at it and I started crying a little bit. As soon as I started crying, it started raining for like 5 seconds and then it went away.
Oh, yeah.
So like I'm telling you, like I'm trying to, yeah, this is how you can
Okay.
understand God, energy, and frequency to liberate yourself and get on your pathway, right?
Okay.
I don't know why I had a desire to open a bakery, but now I want to. I don't know what that's going to lead me to in the future. Like I've been trying to figure out little bakery carts. I'm gonna get one. I don't know. That's how it happens. Like you just get deposited. Like God already knows what's happening. Like God already has instilled these things with you. You have to understand how to recognize it in the physical in order for the stuff to be so you for you to manifest it basically and bring it into reality. Give me a yellow cake with it.
So thank you. So I've linked to your book. I've linked to your YouTube channel. Let's also link to you have a workshop coming soon.
Yes, 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 yes. So I have a workshop that I'm having on March 6th, and I'm focusing particularly on the energy that Black women carry. Black women carry ancient divine energy. Like it's there. We are in that time frame. We're in that time period. Like I said, we're going forward and we're going back. Like this, if even after you watch this, you might start getting some, I don't know. If stuff starts happening to you, I'm sorry, but don't be scared because we're bringing it into awareness, right? Um, this is what this I'm helping you understand your energy. You carry ancient divine energy. You carry the original energy like that was here. And so as we start to awaken, okay, you if you need help in understanding or navigating that and what it looks like, how to use it to transform yourself and liberate yourself, that's what the workshop is for. It is on March the 6th. It'll be 5 p.m. It's reawakening your ancient divine energy. That's what it is. At some point, I will be creating a full on program to help you with the Ascension process if that's something that you're interested in doing. I'm still mapping that out, but I'll be doing that. But this workshop is specifically for Black women understanding the energy that they carry. That's who it's for. Um, and then I have like a community and stuff. Okay. You're muted.
Thank you. Before you go move on from the workshop, let's keep talking about the workshop.
Okay.
So this I'm sorry, I typed the title at myself and I called it the wrong name, but we're talking about reawakening or reconnecting with our divine energy as Black women in the workshop. Is it how advanced do we need to be? How much do we need to know? Can the beginner come to this workshop and learn? And can a
Um,
person who's not a beginner?
I'm gonna say it's for beginners, and this is basically it's just you understanding the energy that you carry. Like
Okay.
it's starting there. It's you starting to understand and conceptualize, you know, what that is. Because a lot of us just don't know. You know, we don't understand that we have this energy that can create and transform worlds. We don't understand that. We don't understand the energy that we carry. So that's who it's for. It's for just for you to start getting this foundational and conceptual grounding on what that is.
Thank you. Okay, that's March 6th. And if we sign up for the workshop, but we're not attending, we cannot attend live at that time. Will there be replays?
There will be replays. I will be hosting it again. So you should probably get on my email list. If you go to I have a freebie for y'all. So if you go to the website or you go to any of those pages, you can get on the email list. You'll get like your little free guide. I have a bunch of them, so you can get either one. But there'll be replays. I'll be hosting them. I'm still sorting out the schedule of how often I want to do this, but depending on the demand and things like that, like of course, is how often they'll be. But yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. I'll make sure that all of these links are in the description of this video. So if you're watching the replay, hello, friends in the future. Links are in the description below. Okay, everyone who's here for the live stream, I've dropped the links a few times and I'll drop them a few more times to make sure that you have the links. But it's pretty simple, decolonizingthedivine.com, decolonizingthedivine.com. The book is decolonizingthedivine.com/book. You can do that. You can get there, okay? I know you can get there. And then the YouTube channel link is here. Let me copy and paste that one more time. All right, so you just published a video on your YouTube channel called Black Women Carry Ancient Divine and Energy. It's time to wake up. This, I assume, is like a preview of what's happening in the workshop.
I'm talking a little bit about like why that it's been suppressed, and I'm talking about the workshop, of course, yes, but I'm getting like a little bit into it's like a little preview or somewhat of an understanding of what the workshop is about. But yeah.
Good. Okay, good,
So
good.
that's just
Yeah.
there.
So can we talk about Black women for a second? Can we
Yes,
talk
please.
about Black women being the first humans, right? Black women we were the first humans, and we gave birth to an entire world.
Why would you not have, understand, it's like do you understand what you're working with? Probably not, no.
And so that is why that's part of the why, in terms of why we're divine, why we have this connection. I think I just spent 2 weeks or more with only Black women and, some Vietnamese people here and there. I just spent 2 weeks with only Black women, and I don't know any more concrete way to let people know that Black women are the best people and are the most humans and the most divinely connected people, except to have you spend time with Black women. There's no way that you can spend time with Black women in community and not, I don't think, and not see that for yourself, not feel it for yourself. We are when I say we're powerful, I don't mean we're strong and mighty oxen, okay? But what I mean is that we are powerful and we are so good. Like, we are the goodness that is in the world. So when you gave your explanation to me for the 6th time about divine feminine, I get it. I get it, because I get to spend so much time with Black women, and I get to see I get to see who we are and what we are, and feel that.
Yeah, that's what it is. And so can I touch on this question? I don't know if I can see it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do it. This lady asks, Josette, do you feel it is sometimes difficult for us as Black women to realize our spirituality because we follow patriarchy through church and yes, yes. And so again, this is what I'm going back into energetics, right? Okay. If you have a woman's energetic system, again, I'm talking about energy. I'm not talking about the physical body. You have a woman, your energetic system, when it's in its natural state, is up here. This is your, this is, it's up here so you could again receive divine communication. The male energetic system is down here to, again, I'm just speaking in energy to help bring that into the physical. You have been conditioned to fixate your energy down here, right? And that has created the dynamics of which we experience. Let's take the opposite sex, for example, right? Your energy has been conditioned to fixate itself down here. They have no reason to move their energy up and come up here to this on an energetic level because you've been taught to come down here and make yourself easily accessible, right, to everybody and everything. They don't have to do that work to put them on at least a level of understanding of what that is and how to interact and engage with you in that regard, right?
Mm.
Any systems, all the things, they've been getting all this good manifesting female energy. This is the divine energy that you naturally carry. They just been getting it. They just been getting it. And it's been on purpose, right? Because you create worlds. You bring all this magic to things. It's on purpose that you've been conditioned to function like this. They don't have to do that work. Now, when you start to get back in your energy, right? That's when again everything starts coming. Like I said, everything starts to come to you, right? They're gonna hoot and holler and they're gonna cry and they're gonna be right and they're gonna be moan, but they'll be all right, right? Because when they don't do that work, we see what happens, right? We stay in this lower tier energy of abuse, what's all that like negative energy. Like we stay down here, right? If they don't have to move their energy up, that's where like they have no reason to move upwards or ascend. So once you start to understand that you as an energetic system being that you are supposed to be up here, not supposed to be, but you have natural access to this up here. That's likely when you start seeing the world change. Just when you understand this, right? Because you've been taught to put it down here, and they just been getting it. They be getting all your good divinity, and you have not been poured into or been able to like get back up here, right? And it's just been this like you sick of it. Now we sick of it, and now we're trying to figure out how to get out of it. That's what's happening. Basically, we are moving back to fixating our energetic system back up here. In so many words, that helps.
When so so it's possible for men to be higher energetic beings.
That's how it was. Well, so
Seriously.
yeah, so that's what the religions and the Bibles and all those things before were to teach men how to do this. In ancient society, men were in community with men, and they had that type, they had that guidance. Like
Okay.
somebody was guiding them on how to come into their masculinity or whatever you want to call it, right? They come into their higher energetic system, right? That guidance was there. They don't have that guidance anymore because it's been removed, and you've been taught to just give it, to just not even just give it to like man. You're like this be like a complete desperation, basically, right? Because you've been programmed to do that. They don't have to do anything. Patriarchy has made it really easy for men to not have to do anything, that energetic work, that internal work, right? That's how it was. Like, but because like all these things have told you, women, you supposed to be down here with us. Like we supposed to like control you, and you supposed to be under our guidance. Like that's why it's such like an imbalance. Like, and they're not getting that instruction because they haven't had to have that instruction. And again, like now, once we start getting back into our energy, you're going to see like you see it now, like how they get on here crying. They call what they call you, Stephanie, a cult leader or whatever.
Let's be a cult leader.
They don't understand that this is how the feminine operates. So they don't have that education. They don't understand like this is what it is. You're supposed to bring yourself to a level up here. It's at the very least where you understand. But they have not had to do that. They haven't had to do that. Like it's just been free range. They were never supposed to have all this willy-nilly access to women like this, basically, if that's safe for me to say. But anyways. But like I said, when you get back in your energy.
Are you talking about sex or are you talking about in general?
just in general, like women were not supposed to just, they were not supposed to just be getting all this good female energy like this, like um without doing the work, basically, on like,
Earning
you
it.
know, yeah.
Right.
Um, I lost my thought, but
Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you. Oh, I'm with you. Thank you. Yeah, I get called a lesbian cult leader every now and then. In my comment section. Y'all don't scroll far enough in the comments on the
oh, well, yeah. Well, so what I was saying is, when you get back in your energy, that's again like when everything will start to like balance out for you, right? Because like my grandma came to me in my dreams and told me like, this the one right there. Like when you get back up here, you'll get that knowledge and understanding. Even if you are dating, and if you are, spiritually in tune, you will start to sense people's intentions really early. Like it's really easy. Like you can really just you will have that, you have that higher level of awareness. So it's really easy to like navigate things. It's really easy to know where somebody's coming from. It's really easy to see like what they're operating in. And so it becomes really easier for you to just navigate everything.
Do you always feel like you've had decent discernment though? Good discernment? Or is that a thing?
Um, no, I didn't, because it has to be cultivated.
Okay.
And so I like to think it's like this, the cliche term, as above, so below, it's literally the same thing, right? You have your phases, like of you coming to adulthood or whatever. It's the same thing with learning about spirituality and developing discernment and developing all of those things. Like you're being taught and trained and all those things, so you will understand like how to have better discernment. You have clear communication and guidance. When I feels people stank energy sometimes, also when you the more you spiritually ascend, the more energetically sensitive you become. Like, and so
Uh,
that's another reason why I don't really do crowds too much and stuff like that. You just start becoming more sensitive. But
mm.
you feel people's energy much more clearer. And then but you have to learn it. You're being guided on how to do that. They're training you how to do that. They can't physically come down here and do it. So they have to teach you through feeling. They have to teach you through signs and synchronicities. They have to teach you that way. They have to teach you through energy and like things that you feel, like your heart space, right? That's your biggest energetic outreaching system that you got in your body. So God communicates you through feelings and like how, your heart and all this stuff like that. So it's just take it as guidance, right? And again, if you have awareness, you understand what's happening, it's really easy to move through things and interpret and discern or whatever. It's really easy to protect yourself from like, and you don't feel a way about it. Like when I come across the energy, I'm like, oh, this is the energetic framework that they're operating in. Because it's like a child, right? Like if you are a healthy, functioning adult and you understand children's development, and I know you doing this trying to get me to come down here, I was like, oh no, like it's really, you're not upset about it. I'm not gonna say I don't get annoyed with people now. I very much do, but it's like I'm not in it for long, right? You just recognize this is the level that they're operating in, whatever, and you go about your business.
How would you describe your baseline like feeling now? There for a long time, my baseline feeling was here's all the things in my life that I messed up and that I don't have, and it's always going to be like this, and Eeyore, right? So I was Eeyore baseline for quite a while. Then I got to, oh, there's things are pretty nice baseline. I feel like I'm a little bit above this is pretty nice baseline. My baseline temperament or my baseline feeling today is like, the hills are alive, right? Where do you feel, right? What is your baseline then? If you, now that you've had this experience, this crossing over, this
Mhm.
new, what is your, not that you don't have highs and lows, but where's the baseline for you today?
My baseline is like I'm just, it's like you're in a, so this is where the heaven and all this stuff comes in and what they were trying to communicate in the Bible. Like you are in like a permanent state of bliss. I don't want to say, I don't want to make it that like it's like you're just at like this permanent happy state. Like it's some people say heaven is a regulated nervous system, basically. Like you are at this permanent
I like that.
state of like nothing really bothers you. Nothing really, and if I do get bothered, like I said, it's not for long. Maybe like an hour later, I'm like, I'm back up here because it's like, again, what your energy is up here. When it's tethered up here, it's you don't really just have the need to like stay in particular like energy fields. Like you just up here. Like I'm just up here and chilling. It's like I said, I do whatever I feel like doing. But like I'm at like a whatever. Like everything is good. So that's my permanent state. And like I said, now even when I do get annoyed or something does happen, it's not like probably like not even a few minutes later, I'm back like, yeah, it's like and that's what it is. That's what it feels like. It's like you float. So like when I had that experience where I woke up and I felt like I had been born again, like you feel free and you feel expansive. You feel like you're floating, right? Like that, but that still has to integrate because you're still down here on Earth. So you
Yeah.
still have to integrate. You still have to integrate, but it's like you just feel like for a while, sometimes I just feel like I'm just floating. Like what you feel like just very light and airy, right? Like you just yeah, that's what it feels
Good.
like you have to have your integration periods, right? So again, in my book, I talk about these
Okay.
things integrating into your body, right? So it's like when I first started, you know, ancestral veneration, I started learning about energy and stuff like that. It was happening in increments, right? I didn't know again what was happening. So the first time I was like, oh, I feel good, I feel light, and I feel airy. I thought that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then some more stuff happened. Now, like those during those times, that's when I was getting like, you know, the negative. I basically had to learn how to alchemize and like any negative energy that I was getting, I had to learn how to train myself to get rid of it quickly.
Okay.
Is essentially what it is. And so every time I would get rid of that energy, I'll feel even more lighter. And I was like, oh, it's nice up here. And then some other, and I was like, oh, I feel lighter and lighter. Until then, it's like, oh, I was just now I'm just up. It's like again, you're releasing dense energy from your body. You start training, you start practicing like how to exercise that energy out of your body. And then at some point you keep doing it and it's like, oh, you just up here, nothing bothers you.
All right. Good, good. So a while ago, we were having a conversation about something, and I was telling you what to do. And in the past, you would have been like, I don't think I want to, I don't know, right? And I was telling you what to do. Like that's how I talk sometimes. And you were just like, okay. She's not she is not feeling this. And listen, this is over. This conversation is over.
I don't
This
remember what that was.
let me figure out. Let me not be the bossy person right now. Let me just she knows what she's doing. Let her do it. It was about I think it was about one of the workshops or something. You were just like, okay.
I don't even remember.
We are now we're on is this different? Things are different now. Things are different now.
Um,
How did we do with the questions in the chat? I started a few, but then I just went on with my own questions.
um, I got you adjusting your bra. How I do that?
Huh?
I don't know. It's first somebody said I got them adjusting their bra. um.
I don't know.
Oh, so Ross says Mocha got me adjusting my bra and all kind of mess over here. So I don't know what that means. Thank
I
you.
don't know either.
Yeah, Nick said I'm describing the Kundalini Ascension, basically. Yeah. So, as in other cultures, they'll call it like a Kundalini awakening, or like we'll call it a spiritual awakening, or something like that. But basically, it's like once you reach that path and you clear that energy out of your body. Again, like I said, it's energy. It's like a radio station, right? So once you clear that energy in your body, that's when God like, okay, cool. Now, like we can move, like we can do some things, like we can move and shake. That's basically what it's like, right? And so like the more you are conditioned to fixate on things down here, the harder it is for you to get your energy and your frequency up here. And so then y'all can co-create and work in tandem together, basically. Like both, like, well, Jesus is taking, not Jesus, God is taking the wheel. Sorry, or whatever you
Now
want.
So now that there's a lot of turmoil in the country of our birth, right? There's a lot of turmoil and people are distressed. Are you feeling that as a person who feels things deeply, but also a person who's in Jamaica and is on a new level and right? How does this time like is it resonate? Is it like are you feeling that? Is it happening inside of you? Or
No,
are you
because I'm not, I mean, I feel, I don't feel it. I, get annoyed and upset with things, but I know what's happening. Like I understand what's happening. Like we are in a transformation stage. Like we're transitioning to a new era. And so like I understand, like again, like when I talked about energy and I had to like get that energy out of my body, like for what's happening, like because I try not to sound like I'm being dismissive or it's like, oh, it don't matter, anything like that. But in the end game, what's happening is that is dismantling. And so it's gonna look chaotic and it's gonna look crazy because that's what happens with us, like energetically, right? Like when people start having spiritual awakenings, like a lot of people start looking at them like they crazy, like you start being disoriented and stuff like that. Like it just starts shaking up.
Mhm.
And then so that's happening. And then once I don't know how long this is gonna take.
Yeah.
I don't know what that period it looks like, but basically that is being dismantled. And it looks crazy right now, but we're still moving into a new era, a new phase, where the feminine will be more present. Like the feminine aspect of that will be more present. So
Are
uh,
you personally, are you feeling, are you even when thinking about that situation in the US, are you still feeling the same
I
baseline?
still feel the same. I feel the same, but it's not like you don't have awareness of it, but like when I see stuff, I'll get annoyed for a period, or I'll get angry, or I get anxious. But like your energy, it can't come back down here. Like like if that makes sense. Like even if you feel things, you may have awareness to it, but your energetic system, it can't come back down. Basically, I can say I got to work right now that we are going into this phase. Now that's why you have this book, right? If I stay in this dense energy, right, I can't create stuff like this to help you navigate through it and move beyond it and understand like what is going to happen on the other end. Like I wouldn't be able to do that. Like I said, if you stay down there, I have the awareness of it, but my energy has to be free for you to do what you can do to prepare for what's happening
Okay.
after that.
Okay. What so let's talk let's finish where we started talking a little bit about Jamaica and how you wouldn't have been open to Jamaica was a step in this process and how you wouldn't have been open in a different environment.
Mm-mm.
Can you somebody here today, right, is also feeling led, maybe she doesn't yet acknowledge that it's by the ancestors, but somebody is feeling led to a place um to maybe start a different life or try life a different way. Um, any advice from you having, being a
I
few
just
years on the other side of this?
I just made a video about this on my main channel. It's called if you have a call to move abroad, it's probably for a reason. Um if you have the call, if you have the innate desire and you don't know where it's coming from, it's probably like some that's like foretelling like what is to come. So it not listening to it, and I'm not gonna say I don't know what's gonna happen if you don't listen to it, but what you if you don't listen to it, you're probably gonna play yourself in the long run because you're probably being called to that location for a particular reason. And if you're scared, like and for me, like I had been kind of like done away with fear, but I know a lot of people like they just have fear. Like everything has just been covered. Like I don't know, like what if I'm in need or something, like it's coming from somewhere. You don't know how you're gonna go about receiving things. That's why you have to open and free up your energy, right? Because again, if you mentally think that I have to work this type of way to get what it is that I want, you're not you're gonna have a harder time receiving the communication that tells you how to go about getting it and supporting yourself and getting the resources that you need to do what it is that you want to do.
Okay.
So if you have that call, it's probably for a reason. And I feel a lot of us were called, I guess you want to say, like had just the desire to up and move.
Mhm.
Because I was never like a big traveler and things like that, but I just was like, I'm ready to go. And so now being 4 years in and all the stuff that has transpired, and I would have been able to do this stuff if I was still sitting in Mississippi.
Yeah,
Not to say it doesn't happen in Mississippi, but like the way my situation was set up, it would have been less likely for me to be able to do that.
hmm yeah. I And so you've worked through this process by getting the process of by getting information, reading books, right? This is the same way, part of the same way that you move to a new place. You get support, right? You get in community with people who are doing that thing or making that thing normal. So get in community. The Exodus Summit community is here for you. The Black expats and repats in Jamaica community is here for you. The Mocha Moizelle community, the greater Mocha Moizelle community is here for you. So I've linked to her YouTube channel for Jamaica and Move Abroad things. I've linked to her YouTube channel for Decolonizing the Divine. So get support, read, learn, and then take action, right? So just like you already told us that you can't, I don't remember, you said something about you can't study your way to this. You have
Well,
to do.
yeah, but like when I said I didn't, it was just I don't know. I don't want to say it was just given to me. The resources that you need will be presented to you basically. Like so, if you are scared or you like don't feel like you have the support, like if you have the urge to do it, you have that urge for a reason.
I believe
Right.
that.
Like you have that urge for a reason. If you have that desire, it's for a reason. They already know what's on the other side. They telling you what to do. But again, because we've been taught to operate in fear and I got it, like you can't, and so it's like the quicker you learn how to release fear and you open and you receive and be like, yo, just tell me what to do, y'all. Like I said, it may not be as like boom in your face. It will probably happen through little things here and there. Like, of course, they weren't just gonna up and like plot me down in Jamaica. Like things had to happen, and stuff had to happen like that to
You had to
start
take some
moving. Yeah. So, um, we want to fight who? But I don't know. So
action.
that's how. If you have that urge, it's probably for a reason.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
I
basically,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
so
agree with that.
even
Yeah.
the spiritual concept for that, I think they call it astrocartography, is basically we are drawn to a particular place. You may not know why, but it's probably essential to your life's path, right? So that's what the term is for it. So that's what I kind of identified what happened to me. And your astrocartography might be, I don't know, somewhere else. If that's what is on your pathway, listen to it. It's they telling you what to do. Like your ancestors, God, whoever it is, they're telling you how to. They're doing it through feeling, emotion, synchronicities, and energy. That's how it works. That's how they talk to you, basically.
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
going to have someone on to do my chart sometime soon. My astrocartography chart sometime soon. We'll do
Yeah.
it live. Like she's going to read it live on the channel. So that'll be fun.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So friends, we're used to segmenting things, like having real strict boundaries around things. This is spirituality. This is something else. This is something else. But I think that is a result of the colonizer trying to keep us down. Colonizer trying to keep us in shackles. And so I'm glad that you joined us for this conversation on decolonizing our faith, decolonizing our spirituality, decolonizing the divine. And Mocha Moizelle, congratulations
Thank
on the
you.
book.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah, of course, I've linked to everything in the description of the video. Um, yeah, I was going to say, make sure, I was going to say something I would never say, ask her your questions. But what I'm saying is read her book, go
Okay.
to her website, watch her videos, don't DM her your questions, is what we're not doing.
So I have the book there, but I also know that it can be a lot. I do have it's a community. You can ask questions. I won't be doing a whole lot of work in there, but it's a support space if you need it. If you still like, I have a community. You can probably go to my website and access it. I just set it up. I'm not sure if I want to stay with that platform. So if you do
Okay.
join, just know that it may or may not get moved somewhere else. Um, but yeah, if you go to I don't, I'm not sure how the website displays on mobile because I literally just set it up. But if you're looking on the mobile and just scroll down, it'll probably either be the link will be in the menu, or if you go down, it's like a pictures where I have like everything at. You see the little ancestral circle. That's where you can click on that. That's the community.
Okay.
Just in case. But and it's just for support. You can ask your questions. I'm not doing like coaching or anything in that community as of yet. Like I said, I'll be building out a program to teach you how to do that. But I have a community space where if you are interested and you want, to be in community with people who are trying to figure this out, then that's there. And you can join it if you want to.
Okay. And I see a comment. Here we go with the new age. Feel free to stay shackled in the colonizer's religion if you want to. Okay. Stay there if you'd like. You can stay shackled in the
When you
colonizer's.
decolonize, you will actually get to where you're trying to go. You will get there. When you decolonize,
I'm not here,
your
but listen, no,
God,
but seriously, I'm not here to convince anybody. I don't do that, right? I don't do that. You don't have to. I started the whole video saying this video is not for you. If it's not for you, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Feel free to stay shackled with I carry the colonizer's name. I'm going to stay shackled with that name because I'm not going through the process of changing my name. Okay. That's my choice. Feel free to stay shackled with the colonizer's religion if you want to. Okay, you can stay shackled in the colonizer's country, you do what you want, right? Do what you want, but you don't tell me what to do on my channel.
sure, like, and
Oh,
the stuff that was identified as witchcraft, those are the energetic systems that your ancestors knew how to actually connect with God. I don't even use that terminology
mhm.
because if that's the definition that you're going by, all women are witches. Like you have a natural connection to the spiritual. You are of the spiritual dominion. That's what you are. You are of it. Like that's what you is. So I don't use that terminology because that was our original setting. That's what
Mhm.
we was up there talking to God, and we was in community with each other, and we was bountiful and we were abundant. And
Yeah.
then the folks over here was like, "Oh, we want that," and then they came and took it. So like that's what it was.
Yes. All right. You do you, friend. Okay.
But if you want
Uh,
to get free, free, like decolonize your understanding of that. Like yeah. God gave me this book to write. Like I'm literally telling you, God was like, you need to tell them how this works. And not to say the Bible and all that stuff was for that time. It was communicated in the verbiage and wording that could be understood at that time. This is the energetic understanding of it and the historical context. Like for you to move beyond theory and just be repeating stuff and calling everything outside of that witchcraft and demonic. Like, this is how you move beyond it. Like, you move beyond theory and actually understand how to put the stuff into motion.
Thank you kindly for that. Okay, thank you. I apologize, friends, but listen, it's midnight. Okay, I'm in Vietnam. It's midnight. I got to go to bed. Okay, thank you all for this. Thank you all for this. This conversation was amazing, and it's because you were here, friends, to help me, because I was not equipped to have it. Okay, I'm down. I'm growing. Thank you very much, Mocha Moizelle. I appreciate you so much, and I love you so much, friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for letting me come and talk about this book.
As always.
And yeah, I have resources available for those of you who want it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is in the description. Go ahead and click on it. It's there. We typed that out for you. Click on it. Okay. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Have a good weekend. Talk to y'all again soon. Bye.